In season 7, we begin with Cuddy and House in a relationship, which they've been sort of dancing around for quite a long time. And she takes a huge risk to just kind of go for it. Season 6, she sort of desperately tried to have a different kind of relationship and realized she couldn't move forward with her life until she at least attempted to have one with House.
I just need to know if you and I can work.
I mean, the suggestion has been made every year at some point. Do we bring them together? And we kept saying, let's wait. I think we can milk more. We can milk more of them not being together.
After that length of time, the circling each other and the flirtation, yes, it was sort of weird to actually finally be, you know, well, good night, dear, setting the alarm clock, you know, all that sort of, that was a very peculiar thing.
It felt honest to us to deal with that relationship. You know, we sort of walked him through sobriety, and so we had seen him free of drugs for a season. And so then the challenge of, is he ready to have a relationship, a real relationship, felt like a natural question that we wanted to see. And certainly Cuddy and he have had sparks for 7 seasons. So it felt like something we needed to deal with.
It felt like if we were going to do it, which we were going to do, this was the time to do it. And then it was a question of making that work.
I think the challenge was, how do we keep them real and true to themselves, but be in a relationship together?
Hugh and I, we had several kissing scenes in seasons past. So we'd already kind of broken the ice of having our characters be somewhat intimate. I think he was in complete denial that the first episode of season 7 would require the amount of intimacy that it did. And horrified that he had to wear no clothes for most of it, as did I.
I've come a long way, baby.
The House Cuddy moments that stand out to me the most is when he's checking out her bum. You know, I think he really gets delight in her curves, in her shape. You know, the fact that she does not sort of dress down in terms of showing off her beautiful figure.
I was surprised at the comedy that it brought out at first, because everything that is House is just wonderful in a relationship, trying to make it work.
Would you please just shut up and watch the movie? I said, please.
I mean, after a while, we realized that it's not gonna fly.
Voila.
Seeing the mundane is really where a relationship lives. It's not in dark corners and dramatic moments. It's how you get through your everyday. How do you function with this person? Are they a good partner for you? That meant that there really couldn't be all that much lovey-dovey going on. So you don't get to see the passionate side of their relationship much.
You know, once they're together, then what do you do? Then what do these characters do? Are they really right for each other? Are they going to just, you know, ride off into the sunset, and is that an end to it? Well, no, it can't really be that way. House isn't designed that way, and Cuddy isn't designed that way.
Domesticating House is a bad idea.
I cured all my patients, so I came home to spend time with Rachel.
Pretty quickly into it, the major hurdles that they have to deal with rear up, and it's kind of one hurdle after another after another.
He's unpredictable. It's hard to be in a relationship with someone as unpredictable as House. Exciting, definitely.
Yeah.
Fun, absolutely, but challenging.
If you're mad because you don't feel you're getting the necessary amount of affection. Ow! What is your problem?
You are my problem.
People are complicated, situations are complicated. House is complicated, Cuddy's complicated, their relationship is complicated.
As your boyfriend, I thank you. As your employee, I resent you because I need this for my case.
As your boss, you just got 6 more clinic hours next week.
At best, even if they stayed together, it wouldn't be happily ever after.
It is the curse of the analytical brain never to be satisfied. And House is intellectually and emotionally restless.
Being happy and being in love with you makes me a crappy doctor.
I don't think, at least at this point, that House can sustain a meaningful relationship with anyone. I just don't think he's there yet.
We can't just have Cuddy discover that House is a jerk and break up with him because he's a jerk. She knew he was a jerk. She knew who he was from day one. And right from the start, she said, I think I can accept you as you are. And so it had to be somehow a deeper realization about herself that led to this, rather than a realization about House.
There's a mass in your kidney.
and she has to make some very hard decisions that aren't necessarily for her own benefit, they're for her daughter's benefit. Is this the right man to have in my life? Is this the right man to have in my daughter's life?
This isn't gonna work.
What does them in are not the big things, not the attitude at work or the problems he makes for her in that sense, but the deeper, more meaningful stuff of the basic ability to just show up for somebody.
You'll choose yourself over everybody else over and over again because that's just who you are. I'm sorry.
No. Don't.
I thought I could do this.
Don't. Please don't.
As much as she loves him, he will never be there for her in that way because he's simply not capable of it. I think that finally gets her to a place where she can understand that it's wrong for her and she needs to move on.
Goodbye, House.
That breakup scene makes sense to me, why it doesn't work, why she can't go forward.
It's interesting that a lot of people found it heartbreaking that House and Cuddy break up. A lot of other people felt like it went on too long.
I think much more fanfare than derision, although those who derided it are deriding because they're passionate. So anybody who's passionate about House had strong feelings about this season and that relationship.
That's part of the challenge of making good television, you know, is sort of staying at pace with your audience, but you always want to be one step ahead. And I think in terms of the overall rhythm of where our show is at in season 7, it's like, how do you keep it organically fresh?
They had a big task at hand, and I think they did a good job.
Well played.
So we wind up back in more familiar territory, which is to say tension, sparring, conflict. And I think House and Cuddy do conflict pretty well.
Oh, shut up.
And at the same time, I must say, that's the House that I enjoy watching the most. You know, the House that keeps everybody at a distance. The House that says, you know, I don't want to be in a relationship and, you know, I don't need a relationship. The House that is pill-popping, Vicodin-taking, you know. That's the kind of House that's the most fun for me to watch.
And now the relationship will be filled with that tragedy, as well as all the other things that it has with it. So, you know, these stories don't end, they just keep changing.
I mean, ultimately, we all love them. I love them. I'm not sure I could be in a relationship with them in reality. It's just playing the reality of it and playing it and taking it forward and seeing them together is interesting and seeing them break up is interesting.